Hello. Welcome to the Healing Dreams Project, exploring projective dreamwork for your health and wholeness with hosts Billie Ortiz and Dr. Royce Fitz. I am the producer, Viviana, and today we will be exploring one of Billie's dreams. I'm excited.
Yeah, we need a dream drum roll.
Yes.
This happens only once in a blue moon, perhaps literally.
Or
So
once every blood moon. Don't we have a blood moon coming up?
Once in a blood moon.
Well,
yes.
We're recording this on the eve of the blood moon eclipse, on the eve of election day. So
that's right. I want to slip in something that I want to make a part of this conversation as we explore your dream, Billie, is that we are very respectful of people's readiness to explore dreams.
Right.
And you've often been vocal about having great introversion, not curiosity about dreams. You've often shared about your great introversion that kind of gets in your way about being willing. So that's why I say once in a blood red moon we get to hear a dream, and this is an exciting moment, and it's a respectful moment too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yes, definitely. Those of us who are more introverted, it's more difficult to share in a much bigger public forum, I'm learning to ease myself into it though. So should I go ahead and start? Okay.
Go ahead.
As I mentioned in the last episode, when we did one of my dreams, I have this recurring theme of revisiting a beloved office that I worked in for like 22 years. It was just pristinely beautiful. Open space, real close up to the foothills in Boulder, and deer came by and all kinds of creatures. It was really beautiful. And I spent about 99% of the time there by myself, because the person I was working for who rented the office, Victor, he was always traveling. So it was really kind of like my office. It was wonderful. And I also did a lot of dream work there over the years. So just a short footnote is that in prior dreams of this recurring theme, I go back to the office, and sometimes it looks the same and sometimes it looks different. And often there's things that I've left behind: furniture, books, all kinds of stuff. The dream we worked before about the storage unit was a little bit different, but it was kind of in the same sort of grouping of recurring themes in my dreams. So this dream is from August, and I titled it 250 Arapaho Cafeteria, because that's the address. So I go back to the office, and it looks pretty much like it did in waking life. However, the owners of the building have now built a rooftop cafeteria on the building, and part of it's closed in, and part of it is like a open patio up on the roof. And I go there and I think, oh, you know what? I remember taking an Enneagram class here with Catherine Woods. I was like, so it's almost like it seems familiar, even though it's one of those dream things where it seems new in the dream, but it also seems familiar, like I've been there before. So then I realize that they're serving some really wonderful, healthy looking food. And I think to myself, I wonder if I can eat here at this cafeteria during my work hours, or is it just for the people who own the building, who were the lawyers that had the top floor of the building. So it's almost like I'm somehow in the dream thinking that I must still work there. So then one side, yeah, and one side of the cafeteria is really beautiful and open air outdoor patio. And that's the dream. And I end with some sort of like confusion about whether, like, I'm thinking, I don't think I'm going to be allowed to eat here. That was the main concern. I'm not going to be allowed to eat here because it's only going to be for the employees of the people who own the building. That's it.
So in this dream, there are no other people?
Well, there are other people, because when I go up to the rooftop cafeteria, it's like full. I mean, they're serving, there's a staff serving food on little trays and stuff, but it all looks healthy and good. Not like you would typically think of when you say cafeteria food, you think like, tuna fish sandwiches and stuff. That doesn't, not very appealing stuff. But this is like, hot meals with lots of vegetables and salads on the side and stuff. And I think to myself, wow, this looks really good. And then there's this ambiguity of like, somehow I still work in that office. But the difference is with this recurring theme over, God, it's been like, 4 years, 5 years now since I've moved out of the building. What's different this time is that the office itself is not cluttered with all this leftover stuff. It's like, it looks like it's set up just ready for business.
Can you
So
give,
in this, go ahead.
I don't know, just wondering about descriptors of Catherine Woods, since you mentioned her.
Yeah, she's a member of the dreaming community and has been for a number of years. Very accomplished astrologer, really spot on with a lot of her dream projections. She's come to many retreats and
Oh, Catherine.
mhm,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
I've been wondering about her.
Yeah,
Yes.
she wasn't able to come.
Oh,
She lives in Fort Collins, and it's difficult for her to travel all the way to Boulder and back. It's too long of a distance for her, but she was actually able to attend more often when I had the retreats in Loveland, because that was closer for her from Fort Collins. But anyway, we don't want to give too much about her life, just to honor her privacy. But anyway, she's a person, that I've known for a number of years now. Probably, I don't know, 15 years, 10
Maybe
years.
just some quick descriptors.
Wicked smart. She's very, very smart, really intelligent, very articulate, always sees things through the lens of the astrological world. She's, like I said, really good at dream work and just good friend.
And can you describe a little more about there's a part of the cafeteria that's closed in, and then a part of it that's it's a patio. Is it like 50-50 or?
Not quite 50-50. It's like I would say like 2/3 of the rooftop restaurant cafeteria is like in a glass enclosure on top of the building, and then probably like an L shape on, so like there's one side is open like a deck, and then that other side would be open as well. So like probably 2/3 of it is enclosed, and like 1/3 of it is. Oh, and it's beautiful because it's such a beautiful area up there. So when we're up high on the rooftop cafeteria, you can see this expansive view around as well. It's real pretty.
so in the waking world, this building does have an area that you could go up to the top and walk around and have an expansive view.
Well, if you wanted to just stand on the roof, yeah, because the roof is flat, and so
Okay.
if you were able to get up there with a ladder or whatever, yeah, you could stand there and see all around. It'd be absolutely beautiful up there.
So this cafeteria, there in the waking world, there's no way for humans to just go do this easily, walk around up there and look. So it's not like suddenly in their on the rooftop patio in the dream, they put this cafeteria there. In the waking world, there's no rooftop patio.
No.
So this is a wonderful invention for me in my
Yeah.
dream, that I've just added this.
Yeah.
I've remodeled this building.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the dream was 250 in Arapaho Cafeteria.
Arapaho. It's taken from the Arapaho Indians, because that area is I think Chief Niwot and a number of other Indians, well, I should say Native Americans, lived a lot in that area, and there's a lot of so in Boulder there are different places where they name things based on original trails and stuff that were there. So Arapaho, only they added an E at the end. I don't know why, because Arapaho normally has just the O in the ending, but so Arapaho is a very long street that goes through most of Boulder County.
Mm-hmm. And that's where this office is physically in the waking world, on Arapaho.
Yes, it was right at the end of Arapaho. It still is. It's still there. Where, see, because all the streets go down in number as you get closer to the mountains. So 250, it's like second in Arapaho. That's how close it is to the foothills. So quite amazing.
I love how I'm not the only one who dreams of a cherished place of yesteryear.
Yeah.
And I also have a similar longing, and
Yeah.
so if this were my dream, it's like a constant reminder of how beautiful this place from the past, which is basically sacred lands of the indigenous people. It takes me back to the indigenous people and how even more sacred it must have been back then. And the dream speaks of how, and the new edition is even better than when I was there. The healthy food, it sounds wonderful. It sounds tasty, and just something I would want to incorporate more into my life. And I love that the deer pass by. There's so much wildlife, and it's right snug right up to the Sierras. So it just sounds, in waking life and in the dream, it just sounds like such an ideal space.
Yeah.
I love that the office isn't cluttered any longer. It's just all ready for business. And I would just question, why would the owners not want to share the cafeteria with me? Or what does this energy feel like in my life, where I might feel like I want to do something, but then feel stopped by people in control or in power on some level?
Right.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful, it's a wonderful wonder, as I experienced that, Viviana. As I was listening to Viviana describe the beauty of the office and the building and the indigenous richness of the heritage of the land and the people, the word library came to me. So that's a little free association there. When I think of richness, of knowledge, of nourishment, of feeding and being fed, it's easy for me to think of this building, this office, and for me, it's like every once in a while, maybe more often than I remember, every once in a while, I'm needing to connect with that part of myself that this building and this the opulence of the beauty of this space and place holds for me. I need to be reminded, this is in me. This is in me.
That's it.
So you know, it's in the waking world, it's a beautiful building. Viviana mentions the deep historical richness of that land, and this is in me. And so when Viviana, you brought up this thing about the conflict. I have a cafeteria now. I have invented a cafeteria on the top of the building, and so that nurturance again comes up, and I am sort of puzzled or maybe anxious or maybe wondering if the owners, and in my dream, I am the owner.
Yeah, right.
You know, what part of me is not yet, what is the word ready? That is not giving myself permission to partake of the richness of what I have built, of what I have experienced. What is in my way from giving myself full permission? Because I'm the freaking owner of this dream.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, because yeah, what comes up for me is that feeling when I feel like I'm not able to eat the food and I'm not sure if it's available to me as well. It's that sense of worthiness, you know, if like, what part of me does not feel worthy to receive this wonderful food that's being served. And it's almost like all the versions of this dream over all this time, this was the most beautiful one, because it really, there was no stress or concern about, usually what happens in the dream is like, oh no, we haven't been paying rent for a long time. Why haven't they thrown this stuff away? And why,
This is another dream. That's another dream.
Right,
Okay,
because
gotcha.
it's evolved over all this time. It started out where there was just so much stuff crammed in that I was like, oh no, I have to figure out how to get this furniture and books and miscellaneous stuff out of here, because I feel a sense of responsibility. Like, why in the world is it still here? Like we've left it by mistake. So yeah, this one is the cleanest, prettiest, most pristine version of the dream so far, where it's like, oh, there's been this great remodel where a whole nother floor has been added to the building specifically for food and serving really good, healthy food. Right.
No, it just reminds me, didn't I, Billy, recently remodel my kitchen where food is served?
Well, it hasn't actually been remodeled yet, but it's been
in the process.
It's been stripped. Let's put it that way. It's been stripped because of the water damage. So, yeah, it's kind of still like it's operational, but it's it's just the aesthetics of it haven't been put back together again. So yeah, but that's right. So that's the waking life parallel there for sure.
I love that waking life association as you lifted it up for me, because I'm struggling with trying to make my kitchen my home again.
Right.
And I don't have a lot of control over that in the waking world, because contractors and supplies and whatever is interfering constantly. And so I dream about a smorgasbord, a cafeteria, and this opulence of food, healthy food, and people serving it. In my projection, these people are happy. They're happy to serve this. And so I have that kind of energy, and I'm wondering, am I worthy of this? And this is such a chilling, goosebumpy moment. Am I worthy of this? I have created this. And how is it that I'm not worthy of what I have created? I mean, yes, I'm creative, I'm amazing. And so I may produce something and I may say, golly, Royce, are you worthy of that? And, it's like, yeah, could I do that? I have done that. So this, the dream is having, in my view, the dream is having fun to exaggerate. I'm in this office, this building that I know so well and love so much, and it is me. This is part of me. And I have created this beautiful place of physical nourishment, emotional nourishment, spiritual nourishment. And how is it that I don't feel worthy? Because it's like I have two sides to me. One says, yes, I made this. And the other says, am I worthy of partaking? To me, it's a communion dream, an intimate communion with the gifts of myself, to absorb and celebrate the gifts of myself.
Wow. That's beautifully
beautiful.
said. Beautifully said. Thank you. Yeah,
well, of course it's beautifully said. I made this dream. I'm worthy of this dream. Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, when I look, there's a part of me that I'm sure that, looking at it in the literal sense, there's a piece of me that will always miss that office because, number one, I spent so much time there. And, to fully describe it, the whole back was windows. So all there were no, there was like a version of a wall at the bottom, but most of it was just these expansive windows. So you just opened up with all the shades and you just got all this beauty coming in. And it was so quiet. That's the other thing too. I think that it's a whole part of me that's really longing for more quiet and peace and solitude, even though we all have gone through, the great shutdown and the grand pause, as Viviana says. We've experienced it in a different way, but this was like my sanctuary, is the way I can put it. Was like when I needed to get away from just the craziness of family life and my head was spinning from different things. It was like, okay, I can just go to my office. And I knew that once I got there, I'll just shut the phones off for a while. Half the time I didn't even play music or whatever. I just enjoyed the silence. And it was at a part, and Viviana can associate with this too, because I know she was talking about man-made noises the other day. It's like, because it's was so close to the foothills that it just didn't have a whole lot of the, normal sounds of traffic and things. Because, right at the end of Arapahoe there. And it was just mostly quiet and amazing. I mean, so it's like a sanctuary. So then moving it from the literal into the metaphor of it, then this is a sanctuary that's still available within me. And the dream is reminding me, Billie, you can go there anytime you want. And you can be fed anytime you want. So, but there's some part of me that's still struggling with that, do I deserve it kind of piece? That's one of those things that pops up for all of us sometimes.
I think Jeremy's going to, I'm going to roughly channel Jeremy Taylor right now.
Okay.
This is where I hear my my loving mentor and spiritual
Mm,
friend say, that's a habit that I
mhm.
have,
Right.
that I have a struggle, I have a habit that it's this habit of not feeling worthy.
Mhm.
I've done amazing work
Mm,
on claiming my worth, claiming my worthiness my whole life. I've done great work, so I've made a lot of progress.
mm,
And there's a habit that
mhm.
sneaks up into my dream that
Yeah.
asks that question. And my question is, how do I handle that habit? How do I address that aspect that I know, in a sense, the habit is not the truth that is in me. The habit still has an echo of a voice, though. So
Mhm.
how do I address that for me in my dream?
Yeah. Wow. Reminds me of another series of dreams that I had, which actually I worked on with Jeremy. Um, and it would be the typical thing would be like somebody would hand me this absolutely beautiful gift, like wrapped in shiny, beautiful silver paper and great bows, and I'd open it up and it'd be something really unusual and magical. Like, I remember one dream had somebody had purchased this 1920s journal for me from like a used bookstore or a thrift store or something. And I open it up, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then I take everything and I hand it back to the person. I hand the gift back to the person who gave me the gift. And then there were a couple of other versions where I'd be like driving in my car and I'd drive up to the parking attendant and he'd go, well, parking's free today. Is it a free day? And I'd go, oh, okay. And then I'd hand him a whole wad of money. So this went on and on. And I was like, I'm just going crazy with this recurring theme. Why is it I can't, I don't receive the gifts? And so Jeremy had a great line and he said, well, in my version of this, if imagining myself as Billy, I'm not fully accepting my innate gifts, was the way he put it. And I was like, wow. I mean, that was one of those aha moments where I felt like my head was going to explode or something, because I was like, oh my God, that's like so close to it. Certainly hit. So I think that
Well,
this dreams are
look how much I've grown from giving money back to the parking attendant to having this opulent, beautiful office. And I have this casual wonder, these owners,
Mhm.
and of who it is me. I don't know what the grammar is on that. I'm the owner. Am I going to allow myself to eat this luscious food? I've grown so much.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's so the theme has changed. There's still that, like I like the way you said, Royce, there's still that echo of am I worthy? But let's think, I wanted to talk more about Catherine Woods, that she showed
Yes,
up in
please do.
and also the fact that I have this faint memory of somehow we took a class there on that rooftop cafeteria area. So again, it's one of those things that can happen in dreams where you something seems very new, and then there's like this kind of dream memory that comes in and says, but wait a minute, I think I've been here before. Because at the beginning of the dream, it feels everything's like, whoa, look at they totally redid they added a whole nother floor. What a great idea. And then there's like, wait a minute, I think I had already attended a class there at some point on the Enneagram with Catherine Woods. Not like she was teaching it. It was like we were going as students together.
This, if it were my dream, this is the Catherine part of me, the part of me that's wicked smart, so incredibly intelligent,
Mm.
And this is a dream that would, I just need to capitalize that. I need to own my intelligence, own what I've built, my empire, embrace it, and really, really look. It's an empowerment opportunity. I would see it. I am so articulate. I see through things through this dream lens that just opens up a world for all other people. It's breakthrough moments happen in all my sessions. I mean, it's a wonderful mirror, this Catherine part of me that is incredibly accomplished and has a thriving dream community.
Yeah.
Well said, Viviana. My projection upon Catherine and Billie, if ever there is a crone that I've met, it is Catherine. It is Catherine.
Yeah.
She embodies this, and in my projection, with so much love and compassion and humility, deep humility and wisdom, with a richness that is not of this, is not of the waking world, is not of the material world. She has a richness that comes from way, way beyond. And as crone, here I just, in my projection, my friend Billie had a birthday. And
just a couple of days ago.
Just a couple days ago. And so I'm, as the dreamer, my projection upon the dreamer is that I'm more officially moving into crondom.
Yes.
And Catherine reminds me of my potential to move more deeply into that.
Right.
So we've taken a class together, the Enneagram, and I'm very limited with my understanding of that. And yet, number one, it is built on deep, deep ancient knowledge. At least that's how it has been presented, which again is a part of my richness of being in this lovely space and time of this building. And so there's these hints of deeper wisdom that come from the ages, both the past, the present, and the future ages.
Right. Wow. That's right. Thank you. That's so good. Yeah.
I think we need to give Catherine a heads up to listen to this podcast.
Oh, definitely. It's like, well, with my last dream, it was Donna. And Donna wrote me right away. She goes, "I'm so happy to be your inner Donna," and have been with you for all this years. So, yeah. So that's
this is my inner Catherine with the expansive view. That I can see from this office. I mean, and I mean, my friend Billie is really intelligent, I just have to say, and so articulate. And she sees things so, whenever I have a session with Billie, it's like, it's mind blowing. I just have to say that.
Wow.
And I want, and what, bringing in what Royce said, the with such gentle humbleness, is that a word? It's humility, but it's just so transparent and so beautiful, Billie. So I just have to say that.
Well, thank you so much. I'm trying my best to receive all my
gifts. Please receive
all my innate gifts. Yeah, thank you. That's so nice. Yeah.
So I need to have this dream, some version of this dream, every once in a while, maybe often. And I love that this dream has reformulated. I have reformulated the dream. The dream maker has reformulated to show me my growth. And I hope and pray that I will always have dreams of this setting, because this is where I
Yeah.
burrow in to the soul of the world.
Mm.
I burrow into the soul of my own soul.
Yeah.
And this is where I receive nourishment, and this is how I can give nourishment to the wondrous world out there.
Yeah. Thank you. It was, when I look back on the history, because it was so many years that I was there, that's where I was when I started doing dream work. I mean, so, that was kind of like the birthing of my next part of my life. And because I had such great privacy and solitude there, I was able to do a lot of the dream work through that office. And I even got together, a lot of people remember the Boulder group, and it ran for 10 years. So it was like, that was where we met twice a month or 3 times a month. I forget how often it was, but it was really like me moving into this other part of my life that ended up being my profession. Because before it was like, I think I told you before in the other dream, it's like during the day I'd be Billie, administrative assistant, and make all these phone calls to banks and all this kind of moving money here and there. And then at night, I'd have my dream worker t-shirt on and I just had a whole nother life. So there's something, I mean, knowing that the dreams are unlimited and can show us anything they want, the fact that this has become such a consistent reminder, there's all those layers too, because it's like, this is where my dream work career birthed, and in that office. And that's how I became more and more familiar with things, but because I also had a lot of time where I was alone so often, I got a chance to listen to a lot of audiobooks and enrich my knowledge. So anyway, that's another piece to it all too.
Well, this is my womb. This is my birthing womb, my dream womb.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Viviana. Sorry.
No, I just what comes to mind is that it must. This is a vortex zone, perhaps, and of incredibly positive energy. That it's where it was my sanctuary, and still can be, because it still resides within me. And the dream comes to remind me that this sacred silence lives within me, and I can access it at any time. This peace and solitude that I might need. That the dream comes to remind me that I had so much, but it lives, it resides inside of me.
Right.
And it's just a reminder that I can go at any moment to this ancient, sacred silence sanctuary.
Oh, that's beautiful. The people that are serving, sometimes in dreams when we have people there that we don't know, they may be representative of some ancestral energy. And I'm curious about that for me in my dream. And my projection, and I get goosebumps on this, my projection is that they are inviting me to eat, and I'm not able to relax and move in with grace to partake of this communion because of the echoes. And I think they're trying to say, the hell with the echoes. Come on, this is the feast. This is our feast that we are giving each other. It reminds me of the 23rd Psalm as well, that in the presence of those parts of me that are alienated, oftentimes translated in the presence of mine enemies, I have a feast awaiting me
Wow. Wow.
And those conflictual voices that yell at me. It's like, I have a feast awaiting me.
Yeah.
Spread out.
It's beautiful. That makes me think so much about something that happens in some of the fairy tales. The heroine,
Yes.
the hero or the heroine is, struggling, going through the forest, trying to find the other mate or whatever it might be. And what happens in some of the stories is they come across this cottage, and above the door it says, "Here all dwell free." And then they walk inside, and everything is like it's just been prepared. The soup is piping hot, and the tea is just brewed, and the steaming, and it's like the reminder that that's always there. It's all here, all dwell free. And that's a beautiful thing and it just made me think about it when you're talking about the feast. And it's like, and this is just to kind of clarify this, another place where I think we can have simultaneous versions of the dream at the same time, because there's one version of the dream where I remember getting a plate of food and actually sitting out on the patio with Catherine and eating. And then there's another version of where I'm still kind of working there. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be so convenient if I could just go upstairs and get lunch? But I have this understanding that somehow it's exclusive, like only for certain people. So I think there's two versions of the dream. And that's something that maybe our listeners can keep in mind too, that a lot of times when we have that ambiguity in a dream, it's like I have a version of remembering eating, and I also have another version of remembering if I was allowed to. So, but they both happened. And it's not possible in waking life, but it's possible in dream world. It's kind of like those times when people say, I'm driving, and they go, no, wait, I'm not driving. I'm in the passenger seat. And they go, no, wait, I'm in the back seat. So there's a memory of being in each of those places in the car at the same time. So that just to clarify that I have that feeling about this dream too, because I clearly remember holding a tray and walking out to the patio and still having that still having that feeling of like, am I supposed to be eating this now?
Yeah. So this is beautiful and it's well described. And I want to underline this for the listener. We can dream at multiple levels. We can dream different dreams at the same time, have different impressions. That is not so unusual in our waking life. Because we can be thinking of something else and we can be writing something and we can actually be having a conversation. So we often have multiple levels of awareness. Our dreams are no different. And in my projection, these are even more profound inside the dream. So as the dreamer was sharing, I am eating, I am questioning whether I'm worthy to eat. I have taken an Enneagram, or I taught Enneagram something with Catherine. And so all of these are occurring at the same moment. And I have flashes of memory about all of these. And this is the way dreams work, because this brings me into different levels of awareness. And the dream helps me become attuned to the level of awareness that I need at this particular moment.
Right. Very good. Very well said. You're right, because it's like, I'm glad you mentioned that it happens in waking life too, because we can often have split consciousness, where we're driving our traditional route to and from work, back and forth to home, and my mind's in a whole nother place, while that's happening. Or like you said, writing something and thinking of what I have to do later that day, so there's like, we often have multiple layers. That's a very good point to make, because it's happening all the time.
I am nourished. I feel nourished by the dream. And I wonder if I'm allowed to be nourished.
Mm.
I
Mm.
I am nourished by the
Mm.
dream. I am worthy of being nourished,
Yeah.
aren't I?
Yeah. That's certainly the mantra that I can say over and over to myself. I deserve to be nourished. I deserve
Yes.
to feed myself spiritually, physically, emotionally.
And healthily.
And right, that was one of the things that I remember so clearly about the dream was, I'm like, wow, they built this whole thing up there like a restaurant, and I'm expecting kind of, just like I said, kind of like, sandwiches and chips and that kind of stuff. And I'm just amazed to see, wow, they really have put together some really healthy food here. And it's exciting in the dream. That part excites me too, because I'm like, wow, and it's so close. I can come up here anytime I want.
Mhm. So are we arbitrarily getting ready to close this dream, or do we have more reflections that need to be lifted up?
Well, the last thing I would say is just that when I think of the Enneagram, I think of
Mhm.
the pattern of what I came into the world with. It's sort of like
Mm.
the type, who I am. I, Billy, am a 2 on the Enneagram. It's called a helper in a lot of the references, which is a good and bad. And they all have,
Mhm.
your good
Mhm.
side and your
Positive, negatives, yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And with us helpers, the thing is that that's the first, we'll just like, somebody needs help. Oh, you need a ride? Okay, I'll be right there. That kind of thing. And that can get exhaustive, because if I'm constantly helping, then I'm not helping myself. And that's one of the things that a lot of the books talk about is, that's the challenge of the 2, is to turn that helper inward and to allow myself the time to nurture and feed and give myself that peace and serenity, and realize that I deserve it, and I can nourish myself anytime. So um the fact that the dream chose that as the class is interesting to me, because it could have been a class about dreams, it could have been a class about anything. And so the fact that it brings up the Enneagram, um, again, makes me think of that we come into the world with a certain pattern, and the only real option we have is to recognize that pattern and work with it, and then evolve and change over time. But anyway, that's just what comes to me as to why that dream chose that.
It sounds to me that my homework then is just to
Mhm.
really put myself in front of the mirror, turn the helper inward, allow time to nurture myself, to
Mhm.
feed myself, peace,
Mm.
to feed myself serenity. I deserve it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Thank you guys.
I
Good
I
work.
would just also add to what Viviana says, is that perhaps there's a literal piece for me to explore the Enneagram again,
Mhm.
and to see where I have come from and where I am going. And I that's such an unusual droplet into the dream
Yeah.
that I would do some dialoguing with somebody who is proficient about the Enneagram.
Mhm.
Like
About,
Catherine, perhaps.
I
Yeah.
wonder, I don't know if she's proficient in that. She certainly is in other
It's
aspects. But
right, very much in astrology and dream work, but I don't know her
Mhm,
experience with
mhm,
Enneagram, possibly.
mhm.
But yeah, that's a good suggestion, is to just look at it more closely, and what parts of me that I recognize when I'm in that unhealthy helper mode, because Jeremy used to call it addicted to good works. Do you remember him saying that, Royce? Addicted to
No, but he's accused me of things like that. So
addicted to good works, meaning like that we just, we put it all out there. We're like, oh,
yeah,
you need help? Okay, I'll be there, and here that it's addicted to good works, meaning that I fulfill all the needs of the others around me to the point where I'm ignoring myself and my needs. So
yeah,
there's a way to just, we can wear yourself out doing it.
he would say in his projective way to me about to be a good man, I must suffer. With a bit of irony. It's like,
right.
okay, that's in my face. Thank you, brother Jeremy.
That's in my face. Yeah, that's good.
Well, Billie, thank you. This was lovely and rich
Yeah,
for
well,
us in our in the womb of our dreams.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Good work.
Oh, it was lovely. I loved it so much
Mm.
to explore your dream, Billie. Tell us, where can people get in touch with you, Billie?
My website is wakeuptoyourdreams.com. I have a couple of groups, one that meets in the evening and another one that meets in the afternoon. I'm coming up on a holiday break, though. I want to put the dates out there. So I like to take off mid-December into mid-January, and it's my chance to nourish myself and work on some of my dreams. And
Yes.
and then I'm also starting up another round of dreamworker training starting in January of 2023. That's all on the website. There's a intro workshop on January 14th on a Saturday. If people are interested, contact me. But yeah, wakeuptoyourdreams.com.
Wonderful. And Dr. Fitz, where can one find?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can find me at roycefitts, FITTS.com. And on there, you can experience several avenues. One is, and before we went on air, I was happily describing my book coming out sometime after the first of the year. And an artist has been was so inspired by my writing, which is just blows me away, that she has created the book cover with various renditions on canvas, and it is just so beautiful to see some part of this on canvas with all the colors. It's like she had a drone and followed me where I went, and she captured that. And the book is called The Geography of the Soul. Dreams, reality, and the journey of a lifetime. So if you go to the website, roycefitts.com, you can get a free introduction of that book. The introduction to the book is on the website. So all you have to do is just sign up and you'll get the introduction of the book. And also I offer a free 30-minute consultation to explore dreams and growth and spiritual journeying. And so this will be a way for the experimenter who wants to do this to see how dreams and spiritual growth and reflection can be the womb for you as you grow and change and expand, no matter what age you happen to be. So that's a part of what I offer. So
Sounds wonderful.
and I'm going to get back to the TikTok adventures. There's still, some of them are still there. And so roycefitts.com on TikTok.
Good prairie morning.
Good,
Good
prairie morning.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, if you, the dreamer, have a dream and would like to call it in for us to explore, we do have the Dreamer Hotline. Operators are standing by. Please take note of the number, which is 720-573-9195. Again, the number is 720-573-9195. It's always a pleasure to explore this dream world, the language of stories, symbols, metaphors, archetypes. Anything else? I'm Viviana.
I'm wondering about you, Viviana.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm Viviana. I know you can find me at viviana.org.
The mermaid, as we can see her on YouTube and Zoom, she's floating around in the nourishing ocean.
In the oceans of the world. My website is viviana.org. And yeah, one of these days I will have a Viviana Magic page, which will have my astrology and tarot when I have a moment. Anyway, until then, until our next encounter, wishing you wonderful, beautiful, and happy dreams to all.
Thank you.